Why don't modern armies use submachine guns anymore? All right, submachine guns are cool. Chuck Norris in Invasion USA with his twin Uzis, or Die Hard with the MP5, even though they were technically prop house modified HK-94s. Heck, I bought a Beretta CX-4 Storm because I watched Battlestar Galactica and I thought it looked cool. Although technically it's a pistol caliber carbine, not a submachine gun, although Beretta does make a select fire variant. Back during World War II, everybody had submachine guns. The Germans had the MP40, the Brits had the Sten, the Soviets had the PPSH-41, the Americans had the Thompson, and then later the M3 grease gun. They definitely had a purpose, but today, most armies have ditched them entirely, so let's unpack why. First off, what is a submachine gun? Well, it's basically a short, lightweight automatic weapon that fires pistol caliber rounds. 9mm, 45 ACP, 40 cal if you're one of those dweebs. Now, they are designed for close quarters battle, inside trenches, bunkers, or cities. They give you more firepower than a pistol, but they're easier to carry than a full-sized rifle. The first practical ones appeared during World War I, Germany's MP-18 being the classic example. It was made for stormtroopers that were actually like clearing trenches. It's compact, controllable, devastating at short range. World War II comes along. These things are freaking everywhere. The Soviets made over 6 million PPSH-41s. The British made the Sten. It cost like $3 to make at the time. It was really an ingenious design. Even the Americans who loved their rifles issued Thompsons and grease guns to paratroopers, tank crews, and officers. So why did all that disappear? I'm at Goodfellow Air Force Base right now learning how the Air Force puts out fires. And when I travel, ground news actually comes with me. I read ground news every single day. It's part of my morning routine. I even have it on my phone. You should too. Here's why. While I was away, Secretary Hegseth had a meeting with top generals in Quantico, Virginia. I kept up with it through ground news. See, ground news gives me the ownership of the publication, the average factuality rating, and the bias of the publication, so you know who is telling you what to think. And there's this blind spot report that is super important because it lets you know about stories you may have missed due to your own political bias. For example, do you know that for the first time in 30 years, left-wing violence has actually outpaced right-wing violence? Well, if you lean left, you might not have seen that story. Did you know that crime in New Orleans is down after the governor requested National Guard troops? 0% of right-leaning outlets reported it. I actually pay for ground news. They don't give it to me for free. So click the link in the description below or go to ground.news/Ryan. Hit that QR code up there and get 40% off the Vantage plan, which is what I use every day, and start getting the whole side to every story. Reason number one, rifle technology caught up. Rifles changed. By the end of World War II, military started moving away from these long, heavy rifles that fired full-power rounds like 30-06 or 7.92 Mauser. Instead, they moved toward these intermediate cartridges, 7.62 by 39 in the AK-47, and later 5.56 NATO in the M16. These gave you the range and accuracy of a rifle, but you could fire them controllably in bursts. In other words, you've got rifle power with submachine gun fire rates, and that eliminated a lot of the need for pistol caliber automatics. If you think about it, your squad already has lightweight rifles with 30-round mags. Why bother handing out a 9mm bullet that's only good out to 100 meters? Reason number two, body armor. Pistols just didn't cut it anymore. World War II, nobody was wearing body armor. If you hit someone with a 9mm at 50 meters, they would probably go down. But in the 1980s, Kevlar vests, or at least flak vests, were standard for soldiers. Now, a lot of these vests weren't really designed to stop pistol bullets, but they could slow them down, especially if the bullet went through some sort of barrier first. And by 1993, in the Battle of Mogadishu, the U.S. Army Rangers had body armor that actually would stop rifle bullets. This was credited with saving 12 lives. The U.S. ditched the M3 grease gun in the 1990s after Operation Desert Storm, and they just issued rifles instead. The rifle cartridge beats the pistol cartridge every single time. Reason number three is logistics. You have to consider the logistics piece. Imagine you're supplying an army. You need rifle rounds, you need machine gun rounds, you need mortar rounds, grenades, rockets. Add another entirely different kind of caliber pistol ammunition for submachine guns. It is just another headache. The U.S. realized this in Vietnam. The M16 could do almost everything a submachine gun could do, but with more range. So why ship pallets of 45 ACP to the jungle when you could just stick with the 5.56? Armies love standardization. If you can give everyone one type of ammo and one family of weapons, you just made life a lot easier. Reason number four, pistols got better. Now, the advantage of a submachine gun is pretty straightforward. You put a lot of lead downrange at a target. So when it comes to personal protection, a pistol really isn't a replacement for a submachine gun, but it can come close. Pistols today are much different than the pistols of World War II. The German Luger held 8 rounds of 9mm. The Colt 1911 held 7. My SIG back there, that can hold 20 rounds. That's 2/3 the capacity of a British Sten gun. So we're starting to blur the lines between capabilities here. And I know some of you are already typing, Ryan, what about the MP5? I know you want to hear about the MP5. Yes, Heckler & Koch MP5, iconic in the 70s and 80s. It's used in counter-terrorist units like the SAS, GSG-19, FBI hostage rescue team, and of course Hans Gruber's gang. And the MP5 worked in Die Hard because the hostages in Nakatomi Plaza weren't wearing body armor, and the gun was ridiculously accurate. For police SWAT teams that don't normally deal with suspects wearing body armor, it made sense. Now, when the North Hollywood shootout happened in 1997, police found their bullets were like bouncing off the bank robbers. They had 38s and 9mm back then, and these bank robbers had basically encased themselves in armor. So you can just imagine what would happen on the battlefield with a modern-day 9mm submachine gun and modern body armor. Even special forces units that have mostly moved on to short-barreled rifles like the HK-14, it's the same thing. Size, power, still controllable indoors. Now, all that being said, we have to talk about the rise of the personal defense weapon. So, the submachine gun didn't vanish entirely, not quite. It kind of morphed into what we now call the PDW, personal defense weapon. Think FNP-90 or HK-MP7. These fire small, high-velocity rounds that can actually punch through armor, and they're designed for vehicle crews, air crews, support troops who don't want to lug around a rifle, but they need something bigger than a pistol. And here's the thing. Personal defense weapons are super niche. They are expensive, they are specialized, the ammo is freaking crazy. They haven't really taken off on a large scale, although I believe the Secret Service uses P90 on the protection details that it runs. So most armies just kind of hand out carbines instead. It's simpler, it's cheaper, it gets the job done, uses the same ammunition as the rest of your army. Now, you might see submachine guns in police forces and, of course, on the civilian market as semi-auto pistol caliber carbines. They're fun to shoot, they're easy to suppress, they make great range toys. You can kick a can around in the dirt and turn money into noise. But for militaries, the age of the submachine gun as a primary weapon is basically over. The modern battlefield demands range, armor penetration, logistics efficiency, and the assault rifle does all of that better. So why don't armies use submachine guns anymore? Because rifles got lighter, ammo got standardized, armor got tougher. The situations where you'd use a 9mm spray gun just don't come up as often for a modern soldier. They had their moment from the trenches of World War I, the hedgerows of Normandy, to the streets of Stalingrad. It worked. But today, they're mostly museum pieces, police weapons maybe, or honestly movie props. And if you gave a modern soldier the choice between an MP5 and an M4 carbine, you're going to take the M4 carbine every single time. And if you want to support the channel, grab one of my Intel Life t-shirts or hoodies from Bunker Branding. And also my 2 novels, The Last Republic. I love it. Everything falls down. The Last Republic and The Wind Machine are available on Amazon or on Audible if you're a Marine. Thank you guys so much for watching. Wow, this girl from Watertown sure is cool. Hey kid, what's going on? Think tank! You know, a girl from Watertown is kind of like riding a moped. It's lots of fun till your friends see you on one. What's really cool is a t-shirt or hoodie from Bunker Branding. Wow! Intel Life! Control-C, Control-V! That's exactly what we do! And Bunker Branding has all sorts of cool gear. Intel Life, Air Assault, Live, Laugh, Launch for Destroyer, Trident, HIMARS, and Patriot. Think outside the bomb. Drone Suite Drone, Department of the Boat People, landmines, and even the tow missile. It would behoove you to grab one today. Girls from Watertown aren't cool, so wear your Bunker Branding gear. Now I know. And knowing's half the battle. Hey babe, you want to dance? Bunker Branding!